for this brand new Monday and of course the wonderful brand new Christmas season. So before Thanksgiving, we were practicing our super awesome skip counting skills. Remember, we need skip counting skills our entire life, particularly when we need to count money. And this week we are going to be amping up our skip counting skills. So today we need to first start by warming up and skip counting by tens. So our first task altogether is we're going to skip count from 82 to 22. If you have your hundreds chart near you, you're going to need this today. You can use this as a tool to help you skip count. But if not, there's no need. So let's see, from 82 to 22, the tens place is changing. We have 8 tens, and then we have 2 tens. So, are we adding a 10 each time, or are we taking away a 10 each time? What's happening from 8 to 2 tens? A 10 is being taken away each time. Our number is going to get smaller by 10 every time we count. So that means our tens place is going to be changing down each time. Are you ready? Okay, can everyone say 82? Let's count. 72, 62, 52, 42, 32, 22. Good job, ding, ding, ding. We reached our destination and our ones place was getting smaller each time. Ooh, what about this one? This is a little bit bigger. It's 3-digit numbers. We have 115 and we need to count to 165. We're going to skip count by tens. So let's look at the tens place. We have 1 10, and then we're going to have 6 tens. So, are we going to be adding a 10 each time, or are we going to be taking away a 10 each time as we count? What do you think? We're going to be adding a 10 each time because 6 tens is bigger than 1 10. So our tens place will be getting bigger. Are you ready to count? Let's see, can we all say 115? Okay, one more 10. 125. Keep going. 135. 145. 155. And 165. Good job. That's where we're pausing. Our tens place was the only place that was changing, and it was getting bigger each time. Okay, awesome job, Super Scholars. What is our learning target for Monday? It says, I can skip count up to 100 using ones and tens with a hundreds chart. So like I said before, we are amping up our skip counting skills today. We've been working really, really hard to skip count just by tens. But that's not always going to be the case. For example, with money, there's not just $10 bills in the United States. There's $1 bills as well, plus many more. So we have to practice using our skip counting skills to change the value, the amount that we're counting. For example, we have to be able to be skip counting by ones, and then change to tens, and then go back to ones, and then change to tens again. Because our goal when we skip count is to find the quickest way to get from number A to number B. And that's not always going to be just counting by one value. We're going to have to mix it up in order for us to find the quickest way to count. And we're going to be working on this skill over a few days with some different tools. And today, we're starting off by using our hundreds chart. So I hope you have this near you. we're going to be using our hundreds chart to help us skip count using ones and tens together. So I hope you have this near you and a little counter. But before we get all into this, I want to pose a question to you. So, can you skip count from 28 to 40? I just want you to do that right now. What do you think? How can we skip count from 28 to 40? What would we do? Go ahead. I have a guess that a lot of us were attempting to skip count by ones. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. And why that's correct? It's not the quickest way. Because remember, what I said in the learning target is with skip counting, we always want to find the quickest way. Counting by ones isn't always going to accomplish that, especially if we're going from a really small number to a really big number. Skip counting by ones would take us forever. So that's why we want to switch back and forth between values to make sure we can count the quickest way from number A to number B. And the clue for you is, it is much faster to count by tens. It's much, much faster to count by tens. When you are counting by tens, you're only counting every 10th number. So it's much quicker for you to move up and down the number line than if you were counting every single number and counting by ones. So today, we are going to incorporate ones and tens together to find our fastest way to skip count. So, the problem that we just did, I want us to try it one more time with keeping this in mind. It's much faster to count by tens. So how could we incorporate counting by tens in our strategy? So, I want you to get your hundreds chart out so you can really see what numbers you're counting. Go ahead, get your hundreds chart out, and we're going to try that problem one more time. Okay, Super Scholars, before we were skip counting from 28 to 40. And counting by ones is going to take us a little longer than we need. So we're going to be using our hundreds chart to see how can we skip count by ones and tens to make it go even faster. So can you find 28? That's where we're starting, 28. And we are going to skip count until we reach 40. So make sure you have little erasers, or if you highlighted it, any way that you can indicate. We're starting at 28 and we're going to count to 40. So, on your own, I want you to take a look at the chart. What is the fastest way we could count to get from 28 to 40? What's the fastest way? What do you see? We could count 29, 30, 40. We skip count by ones and then switch to skip counting by tens. We use both ones and tens, and we found a super quick way. All we had to do was count 3 times. 2 ones and 1 10. That was it. In this instance, we started with ones and then counted by tens. What if we wanted to skip count starting with tens? Is there a way we can do that? To start counting by tens and still end up in the same spot? What can we do? We could skip count from 28 to 38 and then count by ones to get 40. So in this case, we counted 1 10 and then 2 ones. 38, 39, 40. It's still just 3 counts, a super quick way, the ones, and this time we started with the tens. Both ways are correct because they're both the quickest ways we can count between two numbers. So Super Scholars, this is the skill we want to work on, finding the quickest route to counting. So let's all clear our boards and we're going to try another challenge. So Super Scholars, now we're going to start at 40. So I have my yellow dot on 40, that's where we're going to start. And we're going to skip count until 65. So we're going from 40 to 65. So I put my red dot where we're going to stop. Okay, Super Scholars, if we want to find the quickest route from 40 to 65, we're going to need to count by ones and tens. Can you find a path to skip count from 40 to 65? So, let me give you a hint. Let's first start counting by ones. So, if we're at 40, we want to make sure we count to where we have the same amount of ones as 65. How many ones are in 65? 5. So we want to make sure we count to a number that has the same amount of ones. So let's see, we're at 40. Let's start counting by ones. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Look, 45 has 5 ones just like 65. So, if we successfully counted by ones, and we now have the same amount of ones we need, what should we switch to counting by? Should we keep counting by ones? No, that's going to take forever. So, let's switch to skip counting by tens and see what happens next. Okay, so if we have 45, now our tens place is going to change. And we're going to start skip counting by tens. Here we go. 55, 65. We only had it to skip count 2 tens, and we went from 4 to 6 tens, and we reached our final destination of 64. We counted 5 ones and 2 tens. One of the quickest routes we can take. Awesome job. But there's another way. What if we want to start skip counting by tens first? What if we want to skip count by tens first? What would we do? We would skip count to where we have the same amount of tens as we have in our destination number. So how many tens are in 65? There's 6 tens. So we need to count by tens until we have 6 of them. Here we go. Can we all say 40, 50, 60. Dun, dun, dun. We now have 6 tens. That's what we need. But look, if we counted another 10, we'd end up with 70. That's past our destination number. So, what do we want to switch to? We counted by tens, and now we want to count by ones. We want to count by ones. So let's count by ones until we reach our answer. Here we go. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Dun, dun, dun. We reached our destination. And we did that by counting 2 tens first, and then counting 5 ones until we got to 65. No matter what way we start, counting by ones or counting by tens, we still got to 65 the quickest way. Our job as math detectives is to always find the quickest route. So let's try one more challenge together and see what we got. Okay, reset. But before we keep it going, I want us to move our bodies for math. So come on, stand up for our next this or that. So my next question for you is, would you rather live in a house made of marshmallows Or would you rather live in a gingerbread house? What's your pick? Marshmallow house, you're going to do 5 air punches. Gingerbread house, you're going to do 5 air kicks. What is your choice? Where would you rather live? I'm going to choose a gingerbread house because it seems a bit more sturdy. So I'm going to do 5 air kicks. I don't have a lot of room, but you make sure you do them nice and big. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is it. Just a quick little movement break. So come on, sit right back down and let's keep counting. Okay, now we're going to start at 65. 65 is going to be our starting number. And we're going to count all the way until we reach 90. You see 90 down here? We're going to start at 65 and count all the way to 90. Okay, we got to think of a game plan. What's the quickest way we could count? What are you thinking? You have some ideas? What if we want to count by tens first? Let's start skip counting by tens. Okay, so we're at 65 and we're skip counting by tens. That means the tens place is going to change. So let's see what we got. Here we go. 75, 85. Do we want to go to 95? No, because we're going to go past our destination. So we just counted by 2 tens, and we don't want to count by tens anymore. So what are we going to now switch to counting? We counted by tens, and now we want to count by ones, because that's going to get us to our goal. So here we go. 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. We reached our destination by counting 2 tens and then 5 ones. Awesome job. What about the other way? What's the other route we could take to count by tens and ones to find the quickest way? What can we do? We can count by ones first. Last time we counted by tens. This time, let's count by ones. And we want to count by ones until we reach a nice tens number that's going to be really easy to skip count. Here we go. Let's start skip counting by ones. 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Awesome. Do we want to keep going and count by ones? No, because that's just going to make our count longer. If we take a look, we're really, really close to 90. What do we need to skip count by now? We're at 70. What's the quickest way we can get to 90 now? We've already counted by ones, so we want to switch to counting by tens. Look how close we are. Let's start counting by tens. Here we go. And 70, 80, 90. Da-da-da! We reached our destination. This time we counted 5 ones and 2 tens to quickly get to our goal. Both of these routes are the exact same length. They're both super quick. It just depends what makes it easier for us to count by tens or ones first. So Super Scholars, this is our awesome new goal this week, to be able to find the quickest route by skip counting with tens and ones. So today what you are going to do is keep out your awesome hundreds chart and practice a skip counting challenge all on your own. So what your job is, Super Scholars, is you're going to skip count from 37 to 70. From 37 to 70. So what you're going to do is you're going to find 37 on your chart and figure out what is the quickest way to skip count until you reach 70. You're going to have to use your ones and your tens knowledge to find the quickest way. So take a look at your hundreds chart and scout out a plan that you can use to skip count. When you have figured out the quickest way, you're going to take a video of yourself skip counting from 37 to 70. And in your video, I want you to talk about how you found this super quick route and how you were able to switch between counting by ones and tens. So after you skip count, I want you to, of course, explain to me how you found this quicker route and what you did to skip count from 37 to 70. Okay, Super Scholars, I'm super excited to keep it going on this awesome skill and use our hundreds chart friend today. So, are you up for the challenge? Okay, let's go!